goes another 20-year-old.
Holy shit, I hate those guys.
Gotta hate 20-year-olds.
Fuck those guys.
Somebody help these 20-year-olds.
It's time to figure it out, Ricky. Don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Hello and welcome to Too Many Pups, a show about all things puppy related. With help from friends, experts, and our own personal experiences with pups, we hope to shed some light on those issues that new dog owners face every day. I'm joined by Frankie, our newest pup. Frankie is a 2-month-old golden, very nippy, very cuddly.
Very cute.
Very cute. We're back at Eric Koehn's house, and his roommate just got a puppy. What's going on?
Yeah, we acquired Frankie 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks you've only had her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fresh puppy. She's 2 months. Got her from some nice Mennonites a couple hours southwest from here.
Can we comment on this real quick? So when you told us that you got this, first of all, this is a golden retriever puppy, one of the cutest puppies known to mankind. Watch the video if you want to get a load of Frankie right now, because Frankie's just spread eagle across 3 laps right now. But Mennonites, they're like, oh, we got it from a Mennonite. I was like, do Mennonites only take cash? But apparently Mennonites are a bit more modern than that. They took e-transfer.
Yeah, that's right. E-transfer, which is shocking on many levels. I learned a lot about Mennonites from SJ and her visit down there.
SJ's your roommate. She was on the last episode as well.
Yes, you'll be hearing from her. She'll be piping in here and there. But essentially, they're similar to Amish, but they selectively use technology when required, such as payment transfers. So they're not all cash.
Okay.
They can.
I feel like they just don't pay tax. They when you say like selectively do stuff, it's just like, you know what, tax, I'm not feeling that. E-transfers, I'm into that. Cars, maybe.
Yeah, I hope I didn't out them, but there are a lot of Mennonites out there, so I think they'll be okay. But I would be shocked if any tax was paid on the sale of Frankie. No paper trail, I guess, other than that e-transfer. But even then,
man,
Mennonite law is very different.
Yeah, if e-transfers were a paper trail, I would have the CRA up my ass, dude.
Yeah,
I get scared when I get those prank phone or those spam phone calls where it's like, this is the CRA and you're in big trouble. I'm like, oh, it's happening.
Oh yeah, myself included. I've been audited a couple
legitimately
times. Yeah, and so like when I do get that call, I'm like, here we go again. But I just
How do you get chosen to be audited?
So
were you doing were you like claiming stuff? Were you like really trying to game the tax system?
So I'll be honest. My dad has an accountant who does who still does my taxes. That's something I'm trying to
he's
move
now
away
in
from.
jail.
Yeah. I have the same thing.
He's behind bars for a very long time.
Daddy's in jail and he won't be home for a
very long time. So this accountant talk about like compromising discussions, but I guess we can get into it. He does our taxes, and I don't think he's ever done anything illegal, but like accountants get paid good money to like, I guess, find like
loopholes,
your best return possible through those loopholes. And so I think he flew a little too close to the sun a couple times, and so CRA they've been sniffing around, but we're clean. Everything's good.
You made it through.
Everything's above board.
So he's a good accountant.
Good accountant.
I'm fortunate enough that my mom is my accountant.
Is she?
Yeah, both my parents are accountants by trade, but she stayed in accounting, whereas my dad took it into more like an alternate route.
Right.
She does our taxes, legitimately backfiled my taxes for 3 years, paid my living expenses for the summer. She got so much back. Like
good accounting. Yeah.
I don't want to say a number out there, but it was about $6,000.
Wow. Oh man, I have a hilarious tax. I love the tax talk. 6,000. That's an incredible return. I one year had like a really incredible return as well because it was like again like I have my CFA. I have my MBA. Like I'm brutal with
Not
like,
a big deal.
not a big deal, but like taxes, like it's a black hole to me. But one year I got like a really nasty return because I guess like all the tuition credits that you can apply.
Yeah.
And so I went into TD Bank just buzzing. I had this big check. I was like, let's go. And
I'm buying a boat.
Let's put this in a good investment, like a boat holds its value. So I go into TD and traditionally, like I do keep my checking account like pretty light. And part of that is because like I just would rather have it in a TFSA, making like a legitimate return. So I do like strategically like keep it hovering like near or above zero. So I go into TD and I'm like, I'd like to deposit this check as my tax return. And they basically like don't believe that it's like for me because this sum was like so much larger than my checking
You have
account.
like $800 in your checking account.
Yeah, probably less.
That's
Like,
crazy. You keep a light checking.
I keep it very light, very, very light. And so the woman has to like essentially call Ottawa to like confirm. She's like, I gotta call people like at CRA.
And next month you were audited. Thanks, TD.
Thanks, TD. Yeah. And then like so like these people like they refuse to cash it for a while. So I'm there for like 20 minutes. Then they're finally like, okay, we've confirmed like this money is legit. Like we'll now give you like your money. I'm like, okay. And then like they have the audacity. They're like, this guy, this is the most money he's ever seen in his life. So next thing I know, I have like the TD branch manager trying to like upsell me on all these services, right? He's like, listen, like, have you thought about like we can set up like this automatic savings account and every week we'll have money come out of your checking account. I'm like,
Scum.
You listen to me. And then I have to like big time them again. I'm like, I have my CFA. Like, I know how money works. And like, because they're just like, they smelt blood in the water.
Dude,
like,
this is a commercial for whatever that bank is that's doing those commercials now. I think it's Well Simple, where they're like, you know, they go in with an advisor and he's like, but your dad's been banking with us for years. Right. And then the kid's like, he's like, yeah, I'm not my dad. And it's like, Well Simple, save 30% on like investment fees. That would have been a commercial for like
for a Quest Trade.
For Quest Trade.
Quest
Trade.
Oh,
Quest, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like they have like this smug.
And he's like, it's a long-term game.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not a game. It's my savings.
Yeah.
It's my future or something.
Right.
It's not a game.
But,
effective advertising.
Effective advertising.
Yeah. You remember that scene in Breaking Bad where he's like, you don't need a criminal lawyer. You need a criminal lawyer. You remember that line?
You don't need a criminal lawyer. You need a criminal lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember that, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
Yeah.
To quote Jay-Z.
So this must have been a hefty return.
Yeah.
Like if they're calling people, if they're trying to sell you on features, like
it's like I think 9 sheets.
Well,
not a big deal.
Edit
that
deal,
out.
About. No, we could say sheets amount here because also that's that money. The amount I was talking about was because I had a massive tuition as well that was backfiling into, and also all these medical expenses from the concussions.
Right.
So like that was actually a small amount compared to the amount of expenses we had to incur to get that, and also I think I wasn't earning enough to like really go against it either. So like that's how you get that much money in a return. It's uncommon.
Are you fully healed now from the concussions?
I would say like if the concussion is like the way I think about it now is I found out that the majority of my issues were my brain. I feel like is healed. I feel like my brain is totally normal. I found out that a lot of my long-term stuff was just neck muscle related. There's so many deep layers of muscles in the neck, and something in there is tweaked and damaged. So what it feels like now is like if somebody blows out their back or needs knee surgery, you know, they rehab it. It never really gets back to 100.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and they have to do like constant maintenance on it. So I do have a little bit of pressure in my head and a little bit of like tightness in my neck all the time. But it just feels like now just something I maintain. It's not really getting in the way. I'm so used to it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of becomes your base level.
Yeah. I don't even notice it.
Yeah, it's the same way with my heartburn, you know? It's like
yeah.
Manage.
You got to manage.
Everyone's got something they have to manage. For me, it's a little bit of head pressure and just like weird symptoms. Like I don't know. Like sometimes I get like a little bit of tight in the neck and it causes other things. It's weird. Everything runs through your neck. It's a fascinating part of the body because every control system from your brain runs through your neck. So when you break your brain, hey cutie, Frankie's back over. When you break your brain, you can get symptoms, but also when you hurt your neck, the messaging systems can get affected, and you can get symptoms. So like balance or nausea, like stuff like that, or fatigue.
I think since we last spoke, I suffered a conky myself.
No kidding.
And it was to tie back to last episode. It was at the hands of the Bismarck.
No.
Oh.
Bismarck.
Yeah.
If you didn't listen to his last episode, he owns a vessel. And it's not the German Nazi warship.
No.
Also, did you know that there's a song? Do we speak about this, or do we just find it afterwards that there's a song written about the Bismarck?
No, like about the legendary warship.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
If
You
you
search it
listen
up on
to the end of
YouTube.
your episode, it's in there. We put it at the end of the episode.
So I loved our episode. I listened to probably like at least half of it.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of good feedback from it. But I guess you guys are probably more used to it, like hearing your voice. It's it's a weird thing when you hear your own voice. Like it's tough.
true.
It's a tough listen.
Yeah. At
and
first, totally.
yeah, it's a bit of a trip. But I remember I had it. I was playing it in the car, like right when it was like dropped, and I listened to the majority of it, but I didn't make it quite to the end. But a lot of people I know listen to it.
Oh, we got stellar feedback on it.
Yeah, it's got one of the most listens. I think it's definitely in the top 10.
That warms my heart to hear. That's excellent. So I was on the Bismarck, and this was Canada Day long weekend.
Can I guess? Swinging boom or whatever it's called. Jib transfer or like whenever it goes side to side. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a jibe gone wrong?
Yeah.
No, she was actually anchored.
Oh.
Not moving.
Were you just in one? Were you just boozing on the mark?
You slip on the deck?
You're always kind of in one on the Biz. But this was this is brutal. So I was standing on the edge of the boat. I was like, I wonder if I could do a backflip. And I'm not like a backflip kind of guy. Big frame to get around. Not like
in a lifetime. How many times do you think you've rotated?
How many times
Do you think you've been like done a full back rotation?
Oh, over the course of my life?
Yeah. Over under 20?
Way under 20.
Wow.
Like 3 or 4 maybe.
So
I was a couple beers
Bismarck
deep.
was a bit of a standout move.
Yeah, but I was like looking at him like I got a lot of distance to the water. I got some time to like bring it around. So I just like on a whim, I huck it. And I nailed it.
Nice.
Like perfect
Splashless entry.
Yeah, like just not a drop.
Like
It
even
was
the
the
Russian-
round 2 confidence that got you.
I went for round 2 and here's the kicker. So my buddy one of my buddies, Phil, was filming, and he's like,
Phil the filmer.
Phil the filmer.
You have it on
And
footage.
So I've got both the success and the fail. But so he lied to me, and he's like, something messed up with the camera. Like you gotta send it.
Oh, so
again.
not only is Phil the filmer, Phil's a liar.
Phil's a liar. The reason I asked to come back on a second time is I'm gonna air a lot of grievances and just call out people that need to be called out. So let's begin with Phil.
Yeah, start
All
with
right.
Phil.
So he tells me, he's like, botched it, didn't get it captured. You're gonna have to huck it again. I was like, all right, like could do it once, could do it again. Probably not realizing that the first one was a bit of a miracle that it went well. Second one goes, I cracked my head so hard
On the water? On the boat?
on the boat.
Oh, jeez.
Like while I was coming back around, so I hit the back of my head as I was coming back.
See,
up.
this
coming
normally
up.
happens in the first 5 backflips people do in their life. But that happened to like Robbie and me when we were like 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? So your head can take that.
Yeah, you realize like as you get older, like your body's just so much like less resilient to
And you
accidents.
have so
Yeah.
much more mass in it and just like momentum, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of body I was sending around. And so I crank it, and I like I don't think I blacked out, but I was like just like in the water and like in shock. So I think I was like fully submerged for like maybe like 20 seconds, just like getting my bearings. And I make it to the surface. I'm totally out of it. Everyone's just like staring in shock. And then our friend, you might have met him as well, Mark Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So he bought into the Bismarck this year when Joyce moved to BC. So he's a new owner. He was on the boat. Like a beauty he is. He comes in from the top ropes, just swan dives in. Like NLS rescues me, like grabs me, right? He pull like just swims me to the boat, like such a beauty. And so we're still out at sea. I'm like massively concussed. And so we did what you do in like pro sports is we created a dark, quiet room in the berth. And so they sent me down below deck, created a bunch of like towels like to block out the light, and I just had like a 1 hour lay down. I didn't like seek any medical care, and then my neck was like very, very like sore, and I would wake up in the morning, and it would take me like, because I sleep on my stomach, so if my head's like pointing to the left, it would take me like 30 seconds to bring her around.
Oh wow.
So I can empathize with like the poor neck and the conky. Mine wasn't as bad, like the lingering effects weren't as long, but I ended up going for physio for my neck, and then while I was
smart. How'd you know to do that?
Well, so I again, like I broke my finger last Thanksgiving, and I never like seeked real proper care for that, and I was just like walking around like unable to use a finger. I'm like, maybe if I'm like 85, I just like cut my losses with a finger. Like, just not need to use it. But I'm like, God, I still got a lot of good years ahead of me. I want like
a lot of good years of fingering right ahead of you.
That's right. It's the most critical finger I have. Yeah, it's that's right. Yeah. I'd
You're like, Doc, this is my good finger.
I'd be letting a lot of people down if this finger couldn't work. A lot of people. So yeah, I got some physio.
Yeah.
Cause like it's, you accumulate injuries and you want to like try to be on top of it.
Speaking of that quickly, it just reminded me, my sister's wedding was like two weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hanging out with her husband's groomsmen for the whole weekend, and one of his buddies, one of his good friends,
Frankie's going off
Frankie,
camera.
yeah.
Frankie was absolutely just terrifying me on the side of the corner, just eating everything, biting the
so
wires. I was worried.
Loves the wires.
What?
Frankie is getting after it.
Frankie's on the hump train
Speaking
right
of
now.
Fingering,
Yeah. Frankie, little horn dog.
I didn't know that female dogs humped.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
My dog humped throughout her 15-year career as a dog. Okay.
Asserting dominance over this stuffed animal. Nice work, Frankie.
But yes, back to your physio journey.
Oh, I was anyways,
journey.
he was I noticed he's missing like part of his finger. Maybe it's two fingers actually. Anyways, he was telling me the story that when he was younger, during a tug of war, he was at like camp or something. His fingers were in this loop, and it was a malfunction of this rope, and the loop closed in on him, on his fingers, took off like the ends of his fingers, and or maybe it was all four of them. He like two of them got sewn back on, and then another two of them, like he's missing ends.
Centered, really.
He's missing ends of them. Yeah, from like a tug of war. Like imagine that.
But I've heard these horror stories. Like when you went to camp, people told you, or when you were being towed behind boats. I've heard about the losing the finger in a rope thing. That's the old.
Oh yeah, that scares me.
That's like the classic. Someone takes you over the first time boating. They're like, don't wrap your hand in the rope. You'll lose a finger. Like I remember that vividly. Or at camp, tug of war. Don't wrap your hand in the rope. But I guess the rope had failed. A loop of the rope had failed.
Yeah.
So wasn't really a wrap job.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I think there's isn't there like a legendary Chinese gang where like when you join they cut off a tip of one of your fingers, I believe. So that person might
Never
be
heard that.
mistaken for that gang member. It might be like the Chinese mafia.
Okay.
In
China.
He could join this gang now.
He could join without going through that initiation. Just saunter in.
But that was a nice side story. I like that. Let's bring it back to the finger.
Yeah.
The physio,
Yeah.
I mean.
Finger is great.
Finger's great. Okay.
Fully functional.
You got to
now.
get come here motion.
Yeah. Well, yes. And it's so funny. Like being a physiotherapist is a pretty hilarious job. So I go in, I'm like, finger is like, fucked out of commission, and my neck, like, it hurts every morning.
Oh, you did 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was doing it was a 30-minute session. We'd go probably half and half, but like for the finger, all she was doing was and I probably could have just like gotten a friend to do this, so she would just grab my hand and just like squeeze it. I'm like, I think you're like re-breaking it. She's like, it's just scar tissue, like you gotta battle through it. So like the physio for that was just her like pinching my hand, and essentially like what happens is after a break you get scar tissue develops to like try to protect the broken area, and you just like have to blast through it. So
That's what stiffens it up.
yeah, it's the scar tissue. So it's like the bone itself will heal pretty quick, but then you get all that scar tissue that needs to just be like broken down. And so I think since I last saw you, like this has been one of my most like happy developments is full function of my left
Well, mazel tov.
pointer. She's back. All the ladies listening.
Yeah, she's listening. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to like project my weird sense of humor on guests, but that's exactly where my mind goes. And then what about the neck?
The neck is decent. Yeah, I think she said like to try to get like some massages where they would just focus on the neck, but I don't know. I'm out.
How you feeling?
Like I feel fine. Yeah, my body right now feels like relatively pretty good. But
and you kind of recovered quickly, like brain wise. You didn't feel much fog, much headaches.
yeah, I think the concussion itself was probably gone after a couple days. It was more
Yeah.
the neck pain. But like I know people that have had concussions where like they've had to take like a full year off school. And actually when I was at Western, I tutored someone who was on the rugby team who got like a very severe concussion and had to miss like a ton of school. So I was helping him in Biz 2257 get back.
Yeah.
So like I think all things considered, like just extremely grateful that it was like a quick,
Well,
not that bad.
So the thing about concussions is I'm not an expert, but having gone through 2 major ones in a short period of time and maybe like 5 years of like trying to recover from them, I went to a lot of specialists and I learned a lot. And from what I gather, if you hit your head, the brain is actually a lot better at recovering than people give it credit for. Like the people that have the longer term issues, for the most part, the brain is already recovered and it's the neck. And it could be giving you all the same symptoms that a brain related hit would give. So that's why they get confused. And that's why for me, like your buddy that took years, I spent years trying to recover too, because I was getting migraines. I was having trouble with my vision. I was getting really bad head pressure. And I was like, fuck, my brain is absolutely mangled. And so after a year of that, I was like just pushing through symptoms. I was like, okay, I'm going to give up drinking. I'm going to go on a vitamin regimen. Like I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this health together. I'm seeing all these specialists. No one's saying it's your neck. Everyone's like, oh, your brain's mangled. Like I got an MRI. MRI was fine. I was like, my brain feels fine. Like it's like I can think normally. I'm normal. Everything, I'm speaking normally, but why do I have these like headaches and all this shit? And it was only after year 2 where I saw a physio that specialized in concussions out in Guelph. And we only found him through reading an athlete's blog, a US athlete that found this doctor. And that was the first time where I broke through like these major long lasting symptoms. So if anyone listening that has a friend that is having long-term like stuff that doesn't clear up within a few weeks, it's likely not your brain unless you have like imaged brain issues, like brain damage or stuff like that.
And how did the doctor treat the neck? Was it like physio?
It was, yeah, but it's a different type of physio. He has a machine, like an electronic low-level pulsator that he puts on the neck that just loosens it up. Like it would be like the equivalent of maybe like heat pads or something like that. And you wear it for 30 minutes, always put me to sleep. I'd just go in there and I'd saw logs. I'd feel so bad. There's like 6 other people in the room and I'm just like, like demons rising from my bed.
And then in the mornings you wear that ice cold rugby helmet.
Yeah,
That's in
I
the
also had
freezer, too.
a head shaped ice helmet. That was more for my migraines. But yeah, he'd put that machine on you, and then you do an hour of physio, which was a mix between stretching and strengthening. And it was only through then that I stopped getting sick when I worked out. I stopped having my migraines, the head pressure. I felt like I could manipulate it. It's kind of weird, but like, you know, if I had pressure in the front of my face, like I could work some muscles, then that would kind of go away. And then, so it was, I realized the reason why it was so beneficial to me is that I realized it's not my brain. My brain's fine. And all of a sudden your feelings about the injury like switch. I'm like, oh, my brain's fine. It's muscular. I manage it like a back injury. Like, and then my attitude, any like depression or anxiety I had about the injury just went away. And but there is cases where even if you don't have brain damage, you can shake up your brain good enough that the pathways get bruised and reform. So people can have like legitimate like stutters or balance or vision issues, even if the MRI doesn't show that. There is a specialist I saw for that too, which is a whole nother story. But so I'm saying there's two parts. You can rehab your actual brain even if you don't have brain damage, and they use vision therapy for that. Like they make you do all these like exercises where your eyes trace like moving objects or like fixate on an object or like all these different exercises, and that actually allows your brain to ignite the damaged pathways, and you can go back to normal that way. And then the rest of it is your neck. It's just a 2-part thing. And then brain damage, the only thing that can fix that is maybe stem cells and like future technology. But that's the whole picture.
Yeah. I think anything to do with like the head is pretty scary stuff, and I'm really happy to hear that you found a doctor that was able to prescribe like the actual root cause, which sounded like it was the neck. And like when you're going through a medical thing like that and you're not making breakthroughs, like I can't imagine anything like more terrifying when it's like your health and like just no one is able to get to the bottom of it, and you're getting like very similar responses from all the doctors.
Man, it's wild how little. I would legitimately recommend not going to your general practitioner about concussions or even some like medium level specialists, because the majority of people I saw did not, I would say just from my experiences with my injury, did not know how to fix me or treat me.
Right. And so actually this is crazy. So related to that was so I went to the Buffalo Bills game last weekend.
Yeah, it looked wild. A lot of people went.
Yeah, it was a good time. They're playing the Eagles, and I was talking with a buddy of mine from high school who I hadn't seen in a little bit, and he was saying he had like a doctor kind of like horror story a little bit. Is it seems like doctors, like they're very proud and like they won't necessarily readily admit when they make a mistake. And so he was telling me this like weird doctor story how years ago like him and another guy got like this weird like skin issue where they had like a wound on their arm that would not like properly heal. Like it was like not healing. And so the one guy, Ryan, went to the doctor, and he at first prescribed him essentially like a steroid.
Yeah.
And he was taking that for a while. Nothing was improving. In fact, it got worse. So he went back to the doctor. Doctor then prescribed him like this. He's like, okay, good. Like you've done that. This antibacterial medicine that fixed it right away. So it turns out like the steroid was wrong, but the doctor like didn't say that. And then so James, he got like that similar like kind of like flesh disease.
Yeah.
And he goes to Ryan and he's like, I don't necessarily want to go see a doctor. Like, what did your doctor say? And he's like, this is what you're supposed to do. He's like, but first you have to take this one, and then you got to take this medicine. And so he did it, which is like a big no-no. Tell the listeners, like, go see a doctor. Don't take someone else's prescriptions.
Oh, he just took straight his.
So he took his medicine.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
So he took.
He like self-diagnosed himself.
He self-diagnosed him because like he looked at what he had, and then he got it like shortly later. It's like it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But so the doctor the doctor should never have prescribed the steroid in the first place. The steroid like allowed what was wrong with him to grow stronger. But like the doctor never like explained that. He didn't want to. He tried to save face. He's like, okay, like now you get to take this. And so that's what James did too. He took those two things, and
Wow.
his was getting like again worse. And so he went to see a doctor, and he like confessed to this doctor. He's like, listen, like I've done a no. I like diagnosed this. He's like, all right, like you're an idiot, but like show me what you're taking. So he like shows him the medicine. And he like immediately sees the steroid medicine. He's like, "What? Like, why? And like, why would he ever prescribe that? Like, that's not what you need. Like, you need to be taking that." And so, I guess just recognize like doctors are human and like they make mistakes, but I think they're also like they would not like to ever say that they don't know something or admit. So like when you go to a doctor, it's like I got a concussion. They're probably gonna give you your best estimate.
I don't know if they
Is your mic on?
can.
Yeah.
They can't. It'd be malpractice if they fully admit it.
That
Then
they-
you
Oh.
could sue them.
There's got to be a better middle ground for doctors to make mistakes than just malpractice. You know what I mean? Like, but I guess if they're shit and they're misprescribing, then maybe that is just malpractice. Like,
Not a profession you can just readily be like, oh, my bad.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
this happened to me really recently, and it's not. I don't think it's just mistakes. I think they legitimately are just miseducated because, like, I have this. I don't know if you can see on the camera or if you guys can see, but I have a blocked tear duct, like a little inflamed eyelid.
Oh, a sty.
It's not a sty. It
Not a
used to be
sty.
a sty. So I got, you see it on the right eye there? I got a sty when I was studying for the CFA actually last spring. I guess the stress can bring stuff like this about, but I got a sty in my right eye, and I didn't immediately treat it. I had to write the CFA. I didn't care. It didn't go away for like a few months. So I was just like, doing what you normally do. Eventually saw an eye doctor, and she said, "Oh, we have a specialist for these." I call the specialist, 3-month wait list. I'm like, okay. This sty eventually went away, but it settled as a blocked duct. Like it's still kind of inflamed. And then I finally see that other specialist, and he's like, "Oh, you know what this is?" He's like, "This is a condition called Blepharitis." He's like, "It's really common. It's like rosacea, or like it's just something that's kind of like chronic. You're born with it. It's a sensitivity to certain debris that gets in your eyes and stuff like that." And my dad has it. So it causes like it really easily for your ducts to get clogged and styes to form, and you have like a bit more red around your eyes. That's all he said. And he goes, "Prescription. Here's a prescription." I go, I fill it. It's an antibiotic to rub on your eyes. And I'm like, great. I'm thinking nothing of it. He's a specialist. These guys, it was a fancy clinic. I go back months later, no change. He gives me pill prescriptions. So he's just writing prescriptions. I'm paying for this. I don't have insurance. And I'm like, all right, fuck. I go back a third time, and I was like, hey, man, I've been trying something natural. I borrowed some natural cleaning stuff that my dad had for his, and it's been kind of going down. It's been working. I really don't want to take these pills. And he goes, "You know what? You might need them, though. Here's a prescription for Accutane." Do you know Accutane? For acne. Like, it's an intense, hard on your
for
body.
like teens.
For like teens going through.
How does acne have anything to do with?
Because
like
he
clogged
said
ducts?
it's not only blepharitis, it's rosacea. So he's like, "Oh, your skin just, it gets pinker or like whatever." I have no fucking idea. I'm not a doctor. That's why I go see them. And I get this prescription, and this is the first time I was like, this is kind of fucking weird. It's none of the things he prescribed worked. So I started Googling it, and I'm like, it's been a year at this point, and I still have it, and I'm thinking nothing of it. It's just, it doesn't look that bad. It's just like, whatever. I finally start Googling it, and there's this like hipster optometry office in Liberty Village, literally like a glasses joint that has like an optometrist in it, and it's run by like young optometrists, and they say that they specialize in blepharitis. And I go in there, immediately they are more knowledgeable than my own optometrist, which is a doctor's office, and the specialist, and they go, "No, blepharitis, blocked tear ducts are really dangerous because they kill the tear duct, and tear ducts do not regenerate. And if you lose them, you can suffer from like chronic dry eyes." and they imaged the back of my eyelids, and right where this one block duct is, all the ducts behind it are now dead because it took me a year to deal with it. Are you pointing because he's dealt with the same thing?
He's had some eye problems himself.
Oh, well,
and
we
he's had some interesting creams
Should we
prescribed
loop
as well.
Joel in here? Joel, do you want to get on deck?
I mean,
Joel,
I've just carry on, but we'll loop him in.
I've just been through the mix here, but so they imaged the back of my eyes. They explained how your eye gets lubricated by these oil glands and how blocked ducts can kill them. And usually the first symptoms you have are dry eyes, but fortunately I have this external blockage, like you can see it. So I kind of went in to solve it. She said that if you take Accutane, that was like the steroids, the opposite. Like she's like, who the fuck prescribed that? Because that's malpractice. Accutane's known to kill those ducts.
Jesus.
So kids on Accutane lose their eye ducts because of the drug.
And they were already being killed because it was blocked.
Yes.
Plus with the
It would have been a
wrong
wild
prescription.
misprescription. And she said like the real only cures are a good hygiene, hot compresses, and they have a machine that actually pinches your eyelid and breaks down the blockage, or you can get surgery if it's like something more serious. But Joel, what are you dealing with? Is it on?
I think it's on now.
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to the podcast.
Thank you.
Too many jams.
Yeah, I guess just I would say like once a week at least I wake up with like the red as eyes. And
The
it's to
actual eyeball?
the
Or
actual
lids?
eyeballs. And I
Okay.
don't know if you get the same thing. So like I have to look at a screen all day. So like during these periods, like I can barely stare at the screen. Like I always have to keep my eyes closed for
Yeah.
a bit. And like at first it was like I used to get it all the time. And it wasn't that serious. I just thought like, I live in a dry place. And
Yeah.
I get a humidifier. And then it just got to the point where I literally couldn't stare at the screen for more than like 30 seconds.
Without them kind of drying up and getting irritated?
Yeah. And so it started with redness. And now I'm getting these like red rashes above my eyelids. Which might be like, I don't know
Have
what
you got
it's
it
going-
diagnosed?
It could
or?
be.
I don't know. No idea. But like just when you started talking, like you were studying for the CFA, I'm also studying for the CFA.
It could be
just like
stress
so
that
you
brings
used-
it about. Yeah.
So it was like up here first, and then it started going down here, and then my eyes started getting really red. So
Did you?
I don't know.
You weren't on like when you were a teen or anything. You weren't on any Accutane or stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, and you don't normally have dry eyes.
I do all the time.
You do all
Yeah,
the time.
so-
Do you wear glasses or anything?
No. Yeah, I'm a really dry guy.
Just a
Very
dry
dry.
guy.
Yeah.
All
So
over
dry.
eyes, guy.
So
Dry humor,
dry eyes,
dry.
dry eyes. Okay, I never had a rash. I never had like it was never in my eyebrows or on the outside of my lids. It was more on like the lid margin, like the actual like where the eyeball touches the eyelid. That
Yeah.
kind of like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what to Google for that, but have you even Googled it?
Not really. I went to the doctor once. They gave me steroid cream. I didn't use it. And
They
then-
just prescribe.
Steroids.
Yeah, they do.
They
Yeah.
just
Give 'em
fucking
some
prescribe.
Well, like
Yeah.
all these GPs, like none of them, they're not specialists, right? So like, you come in with something, they usually will either refer you to somebody else who has a way better understanding what they're
or
doing,
they don't.
or they don't,
In my case.
and then they'll prescribe something that has worked 9 times out of the 10.
So-
And,
It's almost like GPs, I think, are only good for referrals and just like basic, maybe get a blood work or like they might know about, the hottest vaccine or something.
yeah,
But I think with the internet, you got to take charge. And I think you need at least, even when we take charge and we look for specialists, you need at least 2 or 3 opinions.
yeah, no, that rugby tournament you were talking about, I rolled my ankle.
Yeah.
Like really bad. It was turning black. It was super swollen. So I went to the tournament was like in 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, well I have to have it elevated or it gets super painful. So I went to the doctor, and they're like, okay, you need to get a boot. Don't like put any pressure on it. Don't do any walking. You can't actually do any sports for like 8 weeks. I was like, okay, that's kind of odd. And like this tournament was in 2 weeks, and I was like, well, I really want to go. So I saw a physio guy, and he told me the complete opposite. He's like,
Use
don't
it.
ever wear the boot. Walk on it as much as you possibly can, even if it hurts. And like by 2 weeks in, it was gone. Like no pain.
Who the
Nothing.
fuck knows
Wow.
anything?
It's weird.
It bugs me.
No one knows anything.
No one knows fucking anything.
Gotta
So
get a lot of opinions.
I would say Google
Got
it. it's hard to find the exact, because even this was hard to find. That's why I saw specialists, is no one had the same thing. So if it's like something that's kind of a little bit more rare or not common, it could be a common thing and you have a rare symptom to it. So mine turned out to be a common thing that I have a rare symptom of. You know what I mean?
Have you tried, sorry to interrupt, have you tried putting, because I used to get styes and my dad gets them as well. And so if you put this, apply heat.
I bought a mask.
Yeah. Oh, I've got one of those too.
Yeah, they're honestly like I would recommend just for therapeutic value. Maybe you too, because what it does is it activates those glands. It makes them better at working. I don't know about the external redness though. I couldn't imagine.
It's
I
worth
don't know
a
what
shot.
that
Like
is.
just like the bit of heat. Like when I'm at home in Markham, like my dad's evening routine, he just fires that thing in the microwave, heats it up, and then
And omega-3s, right?
yeah, omega-3. Get some fish oil.
I'm just going to hazard a guess, Joel. Your omega-3 consumption is less than 2,500 milligrams a day.
Can we start a spin-off pod where people call in with like weird medical mysteries?
Well,
we help
I could
diagnose.
agree, because I could go off about dentist as well. Getting
Oh.
second opinions there. Over diagnosis of cavities when they don't actually
Come
exist.
on.
Yeah.
My
No
orthodontist
way.
actually got malpracticed out of work, sued out of work.
It's a big problem
Your
now.
old dentist.
My ortho.
Yeah.
Ortho.
Yeah, sued because
So a lot
he
of them-
overdid. Yeah.
You have a lot of people coming through now, and it was funny. Like my dentist, who I had, he retired, and I had maybe one cavity my entire 25 years with him. Guy retires, new guy comes in, all of a sudden I'm getting cavities like crazy. Then I recently switched to my brother's friend's wife, so I felt the connection was can't get screwed here. They did the full, because it was new, so they do the full, like, we just met you, x-rays, everything, go in. They're like, oh, fantastic, no cavities. And this was the longest I'd ever gone with not seeing a dentist. So apparently they're really pushing, like, billings, because it's typically something that's covered under a lot of people's insurance.
Yeah.
So they'll kind of be like, if it kind of looks like it could become a cavity, they're saying you have a cavity, so then they get the billings.
Yeah.
Dentists are doing Botox now. Yeah.
But even just like pictures, like I go into the dentist and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to take x-rays. I'm like, didn't we do this last time? I'm like, I really don't want those like $100 photos, you know, because
Yeah.
it just gets tacked on my bill and I don't have coverage or anything at the end of it either.
They'll do it about every year or so if you haven't seen them in a while, but like they'll only do the full set for the first time they meet you. Otherwise, it's just the molars that they'll do.
You know what?
Mhm.
But it's really our fault now because we have the internet. Like, but in the olden days, there was no one to blame. They were your experts. But now with the internet, like, if they fool you, like you can Google out of it. Like, how often do I really need X-rays? Do I need to get the full $4,000 Invisalign treatment that they recommend?
They were recommending orthodontics to me, but which is a joke to me because I have had my braces and everything. Now I have had shifting,
Yeah.
but I still see my old ortho, and he's like, "You're fine."
Well, my ortho did fuck me. Not literally. I don't know why I said it like that. He
He put you under.
put me under, and
Little pee-pee touch.
And yeah, what was the malpractice?
okay, I don't know what he got sued for, but he got sued out of work. Like, he does not have an office anymore, and we got contacted as a previous patient to see if we wanted to join like the grievances. And we spent a lot of money, and by we I mean my parents spent a lot of money on my mouth just to have them. They looked perfect, but he put, you know, those like permanent retainers they put behind the teeth. He put it only on 4 of my teeth, my upper and my lower 4.
That's what I have.
That's why they shifted probably.
No, I have a very crowded mouth.
Okay, whatever it is, normally the better practice is to bridge them across a few more teeth than that. Because what
Maybe I have 6. I don't know.
you might have 6. I literally had like, in my teeth, my front 4 teeth are very small, so it was like this like small area. So my whole mouth shifted, and the only thing that stayed perfect was those 4 teeth. I had like a flat 4 on the top and bottom.
Have you learned to smile only showing those 4
I've got
teeth?
6.
No, but so that's what he did mess up, and they ended up having to throw me as a college age man on Invisalign. And don't get fooled by Invisalign. They're
It's
not
not
invisible. And it's almost worse because they look like it's just plaque buildup on your teeth, whereas braces
Yeah.
are obvious.
I had a friend recently get it. 'Cause she never.
Just keep that like.
I had a friend recently get it, and I hadn't seen her in a while 'cause she lives out west, and she was talking to me, and I was like,
Yeah, you think her teeth
What's
are fucked.
there?
I
Yeah.
always thought you had very nice teeth, and then I'm like, what's going
You're
on?
like,
You're
do you
working long
brush?
hours? Like, what's happening? You got in a relationship and things are really feeling comfortable now? Like, ooh.
It's not
No,
invisible.
it was Invisalign.
It's almost like it's better to just blatantly be like, I have braces. Like the thing about Invisalign is you can take them out to eat. Food doesn't get really stuck in them, and like that's the biggest perk. But they should be called like non-food Stuck-A-Line, not Invisalign, because they're visible. And they used to just put like a few anchors in. They really had the customer's intentions in mind to like keep the anchors out of sight. But now they put them across all your teeth in weird shapes and places, and it just looks like you haven't brushed your teeth in maybe a year and a half.
It's clear braces now. That's all it is.
Yeah,
And it's not. It's gross. It gets yellow.
I honestly didn't have the confidence for a year and a half. And I wouldn't smile, and I would just lead being like, they're Invisalign. I would just tell people. I'd be like, I could see them look at my mouth. I'm like,
I have a Invisalign.
I have Invisalign.
Just put a sticker on your
like a
head.
shirt you wear or something.
Yeah.
I'm wearing
On my
Invisalign.
Instagram, it said, "Hi Travis, my teeth aren't fucked. It's Invisalign."
Yeah. Wait for 2 years, and then you'll see how beautiful these are.
They came out all right.
You were talking about Phil airing your grievance. You never finished the story about the camera, about filming.
Oh, yeah. So on the second attempt,
We're so far away from that, but I love this.
we're bringing it right back home. Yeah. So I cranked my head, and turns out he had filmed it correctly the first time. And then we had a second video of me like hitting my head quite hard.
Wait, do you have it?
I think.
Can you acquire this video?
Yeah, we could post it.
Could I sprinkle it into
would love to see
the
this.
YouTube?
Which one? The correct
Both.
backflip?
Both.
I think I
More
should.
so the hitting of the head.
Yeah, I don't know how circulated I want that to be.
Well,
That
you
one.
make that
Okay.
choice, but we have a video of Robbie eating absolute shit doing a
Oh.
backflip,
Yeah, I was going to mention this.
and we put it out there. But the thing is, look at the size of Robbie's dome.
There's a lot of padding here.
That
There's
dome
so
can take
much
a lot.
padding, man.
It's like
Yeah.
Ty Domi's head.
he
It just
literally-
takes so
we
many
were in
punches.
when we were in California like 2 years ago. I hadn't done a standing back flip in a while, and did one on the beach. Got my confidence right back. Right, so the one day we were hiking up to the Hollywood sign.
He didn't account for the elevation.
And the
wind
elevation.
resistance.
Maybe I was like a little more tired too, hungover, whatever. But anyways, we're along the trail, and I'm like, oh, this would be a dope spot. Like, film me doing a backflip right here. Try and do it. Land right on my head.
Dude, I'm talking
Dome
on
rock.
video, right front and center, because we were trying to get a piece of content.
Yeah.
His face hits the ground so hard, a dust plume
God.
blows out from both sides.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But that dome could take it. Like I think there was a dome-shaped impact crater.
You left your mark on Hollywood
Just
Hills.
kind of brushed my shoulders.
But we posted
off
that
and-
video, and there was no ill effect. But he's also not. He's not a professional. Like he's not in the. He doesn't have colleagues and clients and stuff.
I think I've said enough compromising material on this pod already that one video of me doing a backflip into the Bismarck could be okay.
You know what? You might be surprised. It might make you. People might like respect you more, want to work with you more. Like this is a real guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know,
Shook it off.
like my kayaking video where I like disappear under the waterfall.
Posted that, dude.
You posted that.
Thousands of views.
It got a little bit of traction.
Was that up in Minden?
Close in Fenland Falls.
Fenland Falls. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, did it go well? Like when you shot?
No.
the
I
falls?
think it has 20,000 views or something.
I
Like
don't know if I've seen this. Like you went, you got like.
No,
caught up
I
in it.
was with Bales one day.
It's the funniest
and
video.
Bales
man.
wanted to go shoot the waterfalls.
Bale, you two were like two of the gnarliest whitewater instructors. I just gotta say that you guys were very legit.
We had a great time under your rain.
It's a good waterfront all around.
But no, anyways, yeah, we just went to shoot the falls one day. Bales goes over a bunch of times, nailing it. I go over once, I'm okay. It was second time round. He's like, oh, we came all this way, you got to do it again, right? I go over and
Can
then
we say
I
your
get-
state of mind or no? Because weed's legal.
and we'll leave it at that. Anyways, and
You can fill in the blanks. Yeah.
yeah, and anyways, go over and I got sucked under into the current underneath. So I was
Dude, The video,
Yeah.
I cried laughing watching. More because I knew the whole picture around it as well, and like just how he's feeling. But it's just him going over the falls, straight down, and disappearing.
Just gone.
And there's enough of a pan of the river that you can tell he doesn't surface. 30 seconds go by, 40 seconds go by, and knowing he's safe, I'm laughing this whole time because there's a patio there in Fenland Falls watching, and I could imagine the horror of this guy just zonk, like disappearing, and all of a sudden you hear Bales go, or the guy filming goes, Bales?
Yeah, it was Graham.
Bales? Bales! And then the camera shakes. They think
the,
he's
the
drowned.
footage
Like,
cuts.
Was Bales then at the bottom in his kayak? Like,
No,
was-
or Bales was like he was I think standing out there in the water, but Graham was filming,
He's
but
like-
but he didn't finish filming because he's like Bales, and
Where-
cuts it
where's Robbie?
because they thought I had gone
Dude,
under, but
a
I was just
minute and a
behind the
half.
sheet.
and
Yeah.
Oh, so you never went under the water?
Well, I was under for like 10 seconds, but then I
Okay.
got spit out behind the sheet,
Did you
so
have
you
set him
couldn't
in
see
front?
me.
Did you wet exit or like you stayed in your kayak?
No, I stayed in the kayak.
Just
this guy will
quick-
drown
quick-
before he wet exits, dude.
He's too proud.
Yeah.
Too proud.
Um,
Quick Eskimo roll, man.
But the best part is when I edited it for YouTube, right? I made it so that every time he goes over, it zooms in again. I don't know why it killed me, but like it's just like, and it's got like some like elevator music playing in the background, and it's just him going under and disappearing
Yeah.
with a closer zoom each time. I don't know why. That's my weird sense of humor, but that's why I was laughing so hard.
He used to do that program too, eh?
Okay, wild. I used to rip the gull from my camp in Minden there,
Which camp were you at?
Mediba.
Okay.
Remember? See Mediba out on the river?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we didn't have a strong kayaking program, so we were a bunch of guys like me flying down the rapids, so scared. It was very dangerous to put us in that
I
situation.
also
Crazy
was a
dangerous.
fellow Gull River kayaker.
Were
and
you?
I had an incident up there. I was a Wanakita camper.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went on my day off because a few of us were the kayaking
Yeah.
instructors, and I went first. So I went up. I was surfing a bit, and I went down, and I was hanging out in the eddy, waiting for everyone else to come down. I wasn't paying attention, and you know the rough spot that builds up, like right before like the rapids and the calm spot. I forget what it's called. We used to get taught
Like
what
the-
it was
the
called.
standing-
Like in the
standing
washout?
wave?
Like the
yeah,
standing
like you know
waves?
how because it's man-made
Yeah.
up in
Yeah.
Gull River. So I was like hanging out there in
The
the
5
calm
o'clock
spot.
wave.
Yeah, and so I wasn't paying attention, and just my tail just got caught in that,
Yeah.
and I flipped and got pinned against the rocks.
Jeez.
I had to eject myself. I lost my paddle, but like you know how it goes around to a bend at some point.
Yeah.
And
At the
I'm-
very bottom.
Oh,
at the
like
very
you were,
bottom.
you were further up.
Yeah, like you shoot down from the waterfall. Like you can drop
Yeah.
the waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh.
from the
from
dam.
from the
Yeah,
dam.
like the bridge-ish thing.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just kind of go and you drop off.
You at what
Oh, you
point
got
did you
pinned
enter?
at the top pool.
No. I got pinned
Like
waiting
mid?
for people. It was like kind of midway before the bend.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I was just hanging out there, but like I got pinned. Luckily, you wear a helmet,
Mm-hmm.
and I just smoked my head. And I was like, thank God I ended up not
Yeah.
getting pinned in too much water. And because I was the first to go down.
Yeah.
So it was like they wouldn't have known for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes if I was like knocked out cold underwater.
Mhm.
Dude, kayaking, fuck
Yeah.
kayaking. Can I just say that? I know it's dope and you guys love it and it's rad, but that's got to be the scariest, also like quickest pathway I could see to death. And to have kids do it is
Yeah.
wild to me.
Well, so it's funny you bring that up because like I'd say the vast majority of the activities at camp are like very safe,
Yeah.
like very very safe. Even our rock climbing program used to be run by this legendary guy Chizzy who would run like a
I've heard
tight-
legend of Chiz.
very legendary man, guys. He's
Actual legend.
actual legend. He has the Guinness World Record for most one finger pull-ups.
No way.
Yeah.
More than David Goggins?
David
yeah.
Goggins was like straight pull-ups.
Oh,
David
was it one
Goggins-
arm or something? He did something wild though.
Did he? But yeah, no, this guy has like one
One
finger and
finger.
like two fingers.
Legendary.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying like it is crazy like how vastly more dangerous it is. And like when I was teaching it, so I taught it for 2 summers, and we just had like there was like 1 week where it was like bad. We just had like a lot of injuries for some reason. We just had like a lot of bad luck. And I remember like the director of camp like just like
Just
ripping into me.
It's not your fault.
And that's what I was trying to explain. I'm like, listen, like there's so many variables here. Like we're trying to run the program as safe as we can, but like it was just like 1 week where like every day we'd come back, like either a camper or like a staffer in LIT was like injured. He's like, "What are you guys doing out there?" I'm like, "God, like we're doing the best we can." It's like
These
like,
are Olympic.
Have mercy.
These are Olympic class rapids. They're taking these little tots down, like
yeah.
or World Cup class.
Like there was one in particular. Do you remember the story of Max McLernan?
Yeah, I was just about to say, did we tell that?
Is it with
last
the
time?
bikes?
With the bike?
Yeah, yeah.
Did we
Yeah.
tell that one? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess another like equally scary one was did I tell the Mark Wilson one of him?
I think so. We banged his face up.
Yeah, I guess we must have touched on the Gull River last
Maybe
time too.
I
Yeah.
might have also.
Okay.
I told where I kept. I put the the skirt how it has a handle.
Right.
I
Yeah.
tucked the handle on the inside.
Yeah, it's
terrifying.
scary too.
And yeah, so if I don't know if I told it last time, but if you have a handle, you have a skirt. Like a skirt kind of keeps the water out from getting into the kayak because you're flipping upside down and there's waves breaking over your yak. You don't want water to get in.
No.
But if you tuck the handle in on the inside wrong, you can't the tension on this thing, you can't pull it out. And they didn't put us on because we were more beginner. They more let us shoot kind of like the bottom section that has just like that one kind of slide
Yeah,
and
yeah, the otter
Yeah.
slide there.
yeah.
and just like a couple maybe 50 feet of rapids, like the section before that and all that. But I remember just obviously being a bad kayaker going under, and I would pull immediately because I didn't know how to spin, and I thought there was rocks under there. And I remember going to pull and just being like, "This is how I die." And like,
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
so I did use my knees to leverage out, but like that's about as close to like it took like a good 15 seconds to crunch out of there.
That moment, that initial moment when you go for that handle and it's just not there.
Everyone does that. I'm sure you've both done it. Like every kayaker
I've
does
had
it.
it tucked in,
Yeah.
and I wasn't able to get my roll going.
Or sometimes you have to chase down the kids. Like a kid will like flip
You
over.
just see 'em upside
and
down,
You see 'em
down
upside
the
down, and
river.
they're like swimming up, trying to.
The hand
Yeah.
of God.
Yeah.
You come in and you push all your weight down and you roll them.
Yeah.
It's a good time, but like I don't know if I could like today like shoot the whole river. I think you're
Oh,
also, like,
dude, I like to think that if I go up there
Yeah, but
tomorrow,
you're bulletproof, dude.
I
give me like a full bucket with cage, like hockey gear
Yeah.
and like gloves. I'd probably do it, but like
Yeah.
I'd want a bucky with cage.
yeah, man. I mean, I haven't been maybe in 2 summers, 3 summers.
We should
But,
go next summer.
But
Get some
I would love to
yaks.
get back
at least
up there.
like do like the washout area.
Yeah, have some
I
fun.
enjoy yakking. It's just like I don't have my roll down, and I got so many concussions. The fact that I can't see what's under just really bugs me.
Mhm.
It's funny because I'll do other wild shit like dirt bike. I'll go to the track. I play hockey still, but like kayaking, just it's the underwater aspect that I hate. You just can't see it coming. Smokes you in the dome.
Oh yeah, it's a shallow river too.
Yes,
like Gull
yeah.
River is a shallow.
That's the most dangerous part
I
about
would
it.
love
is
to-
that
River
it's
left.
rocky.
Avoid river left.
I would love to shoot like deep rapid, like maybe big raft.
Yeah.
But
we should do Ottawa. We should
I would,
do the
yeah, I would
Ottawa.
love to
Ottawa
do
beat
that.
sick.
We should organize that. That'd be fun.
But you know what I'd rather do is Sea-Doo rapids. Have you ever seen guys that bring Sea-Doos out on rapids?
No, but that sounds so fun.
Oh my god! It's like, you know how we chase waves and stuff.
Yeah.
They have standing waves, and it's just a jump. It just doesn't move, and they just go. Obviously,
Seems quite dangerous.
it's quite dangerous. Yes,
Yeah.
but I would
that
rather.
thing coming down.
Yeah,
Oh my
I would
God.
rather do that though than yak.
Yeah, I mean, at least with that, like, they're so powerful that you'd have like just like if you're trying to like eddy across, like you just have all this horsepower. Like
Yeah.
nothing's gonna.
Yeah.
But
sounds
yeah,
fun.
I read this wild book about. I feel like a lot of people die kayaking, like because a lot of people go on kayaking trips. They like it, like you guys. They continue it.
Yeah.
And you always hear it's just like a normal person just gets pinned, stuck. It's just a random occurrence. You can't see, like even her just not paying attention for a split second gets pinned. And I read a wild book about a girl who got pinned for like 40 minutes and like should have died and all this stuff. And I forget what it's called. It's something about heaven, but she was a medical miracle, like for living. Like she drowned legitimately for almost an hour and was rescued from the middle of the rainforest only to live, have no brain damage. And the book is wild. I'll throw it in the show notes. I forget its name, but it made me believe in
I've
God.
read about and watched the story too.
Yeah, so but I subsequently now struggle and don't believe in God again. But this book made me believe.
Well, she claims that she went to heaven and pretty much died and came back to Earth. Is
Well,
sort of the whole gist of the book.
thing is, she's an orthopedic surgeon, so she's smart. She's like, I'm not a goofy religious person, and she legitimately, like, medically died and is a miracle by all standards, and everything about the story is miraculous. How that they got her out of the rainforest in a thick, dense part of the river with no towns nearby, found an ambulance in a place where there's maybe one ambulance for an entire, like, several 100-kilometer area, got her to. She didn't go right to hospital. They flew her all the way back to be treated at our own hospital. But when you've already drowned, that's like the most dangerous thing you can do. And they said she should have died multiple times, and she should have died even at hospital after they landed, and she still lives. Then she claims to have all these speakings with God where he made a bunch of prophecies and told her a bunch of things to do, like her son dying. Told her that her son was going to die.
No way.
Yes. And in the book, she writes, I told about all the other prophecies but that one because I didn't want it to come true. And she said that God told her to write a book or, like, get the message out. And she's like, I told everyone about these prophecies, but I didn't want to tell about my son. I just told my husband because, you know, I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't want my son to think he was going to die. And she goes, it was like years later, 6-7 years later, my son's now 18. And she's like, I finally thought, like, this wasn't true. So I wrote my story and what I saw, and she typed out that her son was supposed to die, and she clicked submit to the publisher, and her son died just after it was submitted, like a couple days after. Yeah.
That is insane.
I know, it made me believe, dude. It was the wildest story.
There's some
so
more
sad,
weird
but-
coincidences as
There
well.
was way
right?
more weird. I couldn't go into it.
in
It's
the
like,
book, but
like I'll put the book. It's like called like, it's not Heaven Can Wait. Like that's something else, but it's like something like that.
yeah.
That is actually wild. Yeah.
Did you have a good Halloween?
Yes. Yeah.
A couple trick or treaters.
Did you dress up? Did you do anything?
Yes, we had a Halloween party here on the Saturday night.
Cool.
Like last night? No, the last weekend.
Last weekend.
Okay.
And I had the Bills game that I had to wake up for like at 5:30 the next morning.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go up to help a buddy's cottage close, so it wasn't looking like I was going to be.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Robbie just got a phone call, and that's Robbie phone call counter number 1. Anyway, go on.
We good?
Yep.
Good.
Anyways, long story short was I was supposed to help a friend close his cottage, but it got changed to another weekend.
Okay.
So I had to wake up early the next morning, so I kind of mailed it in for my Halloween costume. But we hosted a Halloween party. I went as a Kilcoo camp counselor. So we'll just pull.
You
some
really
did you
nailed
wear your
that in.
staff whites
Yeah.
and stuff?
buddy.
Yeah, seriously.
And I had this name tag medallion from this weekend. A couple weekends ago, I'm doing this mentoring program through a Miki.
Nice.
Called so Miki's a charity that sends children to camp that wouldn't be able to afford it, and they started a mentoring program. So there's 15 of us that are mentors, and we get paired up with a youth who's in this program. And so we had our kickoff weekend at Camp Candelore. Cool. And so I had like this like hilarious, like really campy Eric name tag. So like, yeah, I mailed it in. And I also like the party was raging, and I had to like just shut it down because I'm like, I'm going to be drinking in Buffalo all day, going through tables. Like,
but you didn't shut the party down. You shut your party down.
I shut my party down.
Yeah.
Everyone continued to rip it. Someone at the party had earplugs, which was a miracle. I didn't even like consider that. They're like, yeah, toss these in. So I like slept soundly up in my room. Party continued, and then we had some people over for like actual Halloween, just like for trick or treating, and I was doing that for a bit, and then I had hockey at 8 that night, so I had to go up to be there for the boys.
Of course.
I was reading the story beforehand about, I think it was Connecticut, where these cases were reported, but they had a couple incidences of there was a pair of kids that received razor blades in their Halloween bags, and then they had some other incidences of kids receiving weed gummies.
Oh my God.
Which is kind of
That's a straight felony.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like wild. How do these people exist?
Yeah.
What's
Sorry?
that? It's a waste of weed gummies or razor blades.
I mean, I guess razor blades cost money.
They're
too.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
these are
it's-
wealthy misconductors.
The word
I don't know.
Criminals.
criminals.
What's crazy is like I think back in the day, like when we all just like trusted each other a lot more, like I think people used to hand out like sometimes like if there'd be like an older couple that like was really into like health, they would like hand out fruit and stuff.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Like that used to be like okay. It's like yeah, you'd get an apple and like yeah, like
You're like, fuck that house. And you'd see your friends and you're
Yeah.
like, don't go to that
Don't-
fucking house. They give out apples.
they give
Or
out
like
apples.
even worse, raisins.
Yeah,
But
oh.
like your parents would still be like, yeah, like mixing an apple, like go ahead and eat it. Now, like if like someone handed an apple, like the parents would
No.
call the police. They're like, we gotta like raid this house.
Yeah.
They're trying to poison all of our children.
We'd always get like you always want to find like the person handing out pop or like a
Yeah.
full chocolate bar.
Full chocolate bars
Full
and
chocolate
pop were
bars,
the
yeah.
hot ticket.
And like as you went around the neighborhood, you'd be like, you run into your buddy and they'd be like
Pop house.
5 houses
Yeah.
down on the left, like go there now, skip all this, go ahead.
With phones now, I wonder if kids have like a hot connection on where the full chocolate bar and pop houses are.
Yeah.
Like they just like drop a pin. Or like,
Like
they just
snap
yeah,
it.
group chat, snap, be like full
absolutely
candy bar
running
house.
game on these houses.
They
House
got-
just gets kicked down. Like, give me all your
They have like a
chocolate bars. I
club
need
size
it.
lineup at their door.
I remember there's a house nearby me too that the dentist, you'd hand out like
Oh.
a toothbrush
Yo,
and
fuck
toothpaste.
that guy, man.
Man, we have been slamming dentists and GPs this episode.
Yeah,
and I'm
sorry.
into it.
I believe there's good dentists and GPs out there, of
Trav's just a
course.
little bitter because his ex-girlfriend's dad was a dentist, and
They owned a whole dental company. They own a whole dental
Just
company.
rolling in that sweet dental
Sweet
money.
dental dough, and I'm over here just scraping by.
Try to survive. Misdiagnosing cavities. Cavity too is a loose term. Cavity just means like some type of indentation. At what point does it need to
Oh.
be like healed, or what time like is it just like a natural tooth indentation?
I think it's just it's decay.
But like yeah, you don't always have to like drill and fill that. Scratch that from the FET. But like so back to those full chocolate bars. There was a few houses in our neighborhood that used to do that, and like as a kid, like your perception of money was such that we're like, if they're handing out full chocolate bars, like they
They're
have
the rich.
millions and millions of dollars. No one can afford this.
It turns out
Yeah.
they just like work at the Mondelez factory like down the street,
Yeah.
and they're just
You
pulling
can get a
supply.
pack 100 of those for like $30.
Yeah, oh yeah, like if you work at one of
Yeah.
those things, you get that stuff for so cheap.
But-
But we looked up to them like gods, like
Yeah.
wealthy.
I was like, Mom
Oh,
and
yeah,
Dad, why
totally.
can't you make as much money as the full candy bar house?
come on, embarrassing me. Handing out
That's jokes.
single mini Kit Kats.
But you remember, like, even in our days, they would say, check your candy. My parents made us sort our candy, and they would always
Oh,
say
yeah.
stuff like syringes. You got to look
Yeah.
for syringes. I'm like, I wouldn't know
yeah.
if I got a syringe. Like, I'm 12, but I'm not an idiot. You know?
There definitely was like a hunt for syringes a lot more. As they got, do we still tell kids to look for syringes?
I think now
I was
it's-
terrified of them as a lot. That like, do you ever
Yeah.
realize like now that you're aging, like there's the irrational fear of things that when you were a little
glass, broken glass.
Bro-
kid, broken
glass,
glass,
yeah.
syringes, quicksand. That was a big fear of mine.
What's like in real life?
just life,
yeah.
like
falling
just
into
like
quicksand.
I just felt like syringes were going to be a real big problem growing up, and like they're going to be everywhere. And then I never really saw them.
As an
then you
adult,
realize-
now I'm afraid of things like staph infection and like flesh-eating disease, or like rare like horror stories, like medical mysteries. That's
How
what
about
scare me.
Ticks.
Ticks are.
I
fuck
had
me
one
up.
the other.
Hey,
I had
ticks.
one on me the other day
In
so
Toronto.
in Pickering. So I was over
Pickering.
Thanksgiving.
Tickering.
But like we,
More like-
wow, well done, well
Thanks,
done.
thanks, guys.
But
Thank
yeah,
you,
my
thank you.
brother's dog,
Thanks
like,
for-
so we back onto the Rouge Hill like conservation area, and my brother's dog was out like running in the backyard, and like he came in, I'm playing around with him, and like I'm sitting there like just in our little sort of living room area, and I'm staring at my hand. I'm like, that's not a spider. And I'm like trying to pull it off, and like it's staying on, not like biting me,
Yeah,
but
but
like it
stuck.
actually, like they really, like when they crawl around you, like it's hard to pull them off your skin. Like they got like sticky claws or something.
Wow.
Sticky claws.
And it was a tick. Luckily, it was like a baby one, and it
Yeah.
hadn't bit me. but it came on me off my brother's dog. 'Cause they like to go near the ears, and I was petting the ears.
They do? Don't tell me that, because
Yeah.
I have a bite.
No, the dog ears.
Oh my
yeah.
God, thank God.
No, they like to bite around the ears too.
Yeah.
After this pod, we're all going to the hospital for just like a full.
But no,
body
Yeah.
my mom
assessment.
Top
got
to
treated for
bottom.
Lyme
Yeah.
disease. A
Send me
guy
to
I
the
work with
MRI.
had to get treated for Lyme disease. Like,
Oh,
if
they-
you
so
have
they've-
a dog,
Lyme disease is scary.
Okay,
Yeah.
isn't that what took down Avril
Avril
Lavigne?
Lavigne, I've heard
Like,
that.
She
Yeah.
was like bedridden.
But she's back.
No way.
She's back.
She's back.
Better than ever. But
Limes
she-
can't take an icon like
and
that
I think
down.
like didn't Chad Kroger like leave her while she was like just riddled with Lyme disease? Like
I don't.
Oh, I didn't
I
hear
don't
all
know
this
about that.
backstory.
I don't mean to
Look at this
slit-
Lyme disease.
I'm getting out of here before I catch this Lyme disease.
Well, you probably just thought she was depressed. Like, people really didn't know what Lyme's was for a long time.
Yeah.
No, I had a bite in behind my ear, and that's my first thought anytime I feel
If it looks
bite.
like a bullseye.
Yeah, luckily it doesn't. It looks more like a...
I think SJ wants to get her eyes on this. Oh,
No,
she's
no,
just
I'm
leaning in
I'm
for
scratching.
scratch. I thought you were about to die.
No.
See, that's what scares me now. I'm no longer afraid of like the boogeyman
Quicksand.
or like I'm in the prime
Thought
of
it'd
my
be a
life.
problem.
Like, I'm not really afraid of getting like kidnapped or like stuff like that. It's I can walk into dark basements now. I don't give a fuck, man. Ghosts? I don't give a fuck. I used to run out of my basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I don't even turn the lights on sometimes. I'm like, haunt me, dude. Like, I'm
There were-
jacked. No.
Give me some
Give me
demons to
some
work with.
demons.
Enter my soul. I want
Yeah.
it.
I remember. So remember when Gremlins came out and like, am I dating you guys know Gremlins? Right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just
You are
stared
dating
at me.
yourself, though.
Yeah, I really like blank faces. I'm staring at. I'm old.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, we haven't
but-
seen it.
What?
I know
Okay,
of it.
so part of Gremlins though is that there's these massive spiders. So like one of the bad things that happens is like these big spiders. I forget
Yeah.
I forget the premise of the movie. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I remember like being a kid and like seeing these massive spiders in the movie. And one day I was talking to my parents. I'm like, Mom and Dad, are there big spiders in the basement? And they're like, yeah, like in the back room, like they kind of build
Like
up
an
there.
inch?
But in their mind, like I think they were talking about like a spider that might be like, I don't know, and like
Yeah.
the size of
Yeah.
a nickel.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a big spider in Canada
Yeah.
terms. And so in my head, I was like, holy fuck. Like I thought these human-sized spiders lived in my basement in the back room.
For how long, you think?
I probably still kind of like there's still like a part of me.
Still believes it.
Yeah, there's still a part of me, and I had a particular part of the house, like behind the stairs, underneath them,
that's
like
where
where
they
we
live.
have this thing, like, and I was like, for sure,
That's the
100%.
spider den.
But like it was just a misperception. Like what they were saying was a big spider. Like in their mind was another thing. In my head, I'm thinking the gremlin spider.
The ones that
And-
scare me now are those big dock spiders.
Dog
You're up
spiders
there.
and wolf spiders.
Oh.
What is that?
Wolf
What's a wolf
spiders.
spider? Yeah.
Wolf spiders look exactly like dog spiders, but at my camp we used to do tabins. Tabins
What's
are tent
tabins?
cabins. So like instead
Oh.
of just going straight
Never heard that before.
instead of straight tent camping or staying in a cabin, we got tabins. You know what I mean?
what parts tent? What parts cabin?
Okay, so it's out in the woods, elevated, wood floor. So all the luxuries you maybe
Well, I want to hear what Koehn has to say about this.
I was gonna say something unkind about your camp, but I'm.
Oh no, we didn't sleep in them full time.
Okay.
We had
So
Easy
let it rip.
kill coup.
yeah. This was like an excursion.
Okay. Very cool.
So out in the, deep into the woods, they had these set up at different like landmarks, and it would be like the boulder, the treehouse, and it was just like they just basically built a little wooden kind of tent that could sleep like 20. But they were riddled with these monstrous wolf spiders, which look like dog spiders, definitely bite, hairy, about the size of an apple. You know, like legs and everything. You know what I mean?
Terrifying
Look
species.
them up, Rob.
I'm
What-
looking
what
right
kind
now.
of
Size
apple?
of an apple.
Like a little,
Like
like,
legs.
a
We're talking
little,
like
like we're talking like a
Macintosh?
Macintosh,
Like legs
maybe.
and everything. I'm not talking about like their bulbs weren't the size
All
of
apples are about the same size. We
No,
don't have to
no.
specify
No, no.
the type of apple.
100%. You need to specify.
like
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like if we're talking like Honey
No.
Crisp,
okay,
Honey Crisp
my
are like
you
God.
fucking
Yeah.
apple
Huge.
freaks.
Are
I'm
you-
talking
Yeah.
about regular
An apple,
apples.
an average apple.
we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
I'm not talking.
Also,
fucking,
there's like 30 types of apples. They're
Yeah.
all plus or minus just like
Average
No.
amount,
Yeah.
Look
normal
at go
average
buy a
apple.
bag of like Macintosh apples during apple picking season. Those are like baby apples.
They're
Okay,
small,
non-GMO, organic.
Or like, are we talking about like
Those
crab
things
apples?
are huge.
He would have said
Have you
crab
seen
apples
an
if he was
organic
talking
Granny
crab
Smith?
apples.
You
He would've
fucking
spe-
apple scientist over
Can you
here.
guys
Just
get off your apple horse?
look up, show them wolf spiders.
Holy.
Yeah.
Show. I'll put the picture
Fuck
in the
that
YouTube as
spider.
well if you're watching the YouTube.
God damn it.
Uh,
They also move so fucking weird.
That's how they
Like,
move.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I saw like a GIF of they animated the spider movement, like
Ugh.
how they move. It's nuts, like just like the mechanics of their movement.
But everything we're afraid of, like that's a medium spider in Australia.
Fuck Australia.
Oh,
Fuck
Spoiled us.
Australia. Let's just say that out
Spoiled
loud
us.
too. while we're
yeah,
at it.
everyone wants to go there, and I'm like, do you want to die?
They made us read a book before we went to Australia on our trip, and it was all the things that could kill you in Australia, and that was mandatory reading. It was like these spiders, these snakes, these birds, stay away. Don't go near waterways. There's crocs. There's sharks. These jellyfish will kill you. I'm like, what doesn't kill you here?
My mom growing up like lived in Jamaica for a year, and she was telling me about how they had this banana tree outside one
Yeah.
of their bathrooms, and like you'd go to like use the toilet paper sometimes, and these those things will kill you, by the way. The banana spiders
Oh no.
would come out from behind the toilet paper dispenser when you'd pull it.
Ew.
And did you guys just look up banana spider? You want to if you
Send that GIF
stepped on
around,
it,
too.
like its legs would come out from under your.
Ew.
This is
Yeah.
how they rip around.
Like you want to talk
Yeah.
about things killing you?
Dude.
Banana spiders.
Banana
Banana
spiders.
spider?
I gotta look this.
I'm
There's
looking at it.
a guy on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever seen his channel before, but his name is Coyote Peterson.
Yup.
Have you seen this? Have you?
No.
I would like to.
Okay, so Coyote Peterson runs this crazy YouTube channel where he finds like the world's craziest insects that bite you, like the most wild names, things you've never heard of, and like they sting, like the stings like hurt the most. That's what he searches for. So part of his video
Does he
is
get bit by them?
yes.
Yes.
So part of his video
Wow,
is
what a
him
tough way to
hunting
make a living.
for these rare insects.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the video, the whole point of it is he bites himself so that he can show it on camera, like what a sting is like. So
Oh my
so he
God.
puts it on himself, and then he
No.
lets it bite him, and then he's there and he's like dying, and he's
Dude,
like
he's not
giving
dying.
up.
He's literally jerking off to it. I think he
He's-
gets
he's
off
get-
to it. You gotta watch
you gotta watch.
it.
Like,
He's,
he
he's like
likes
giving
the
he's
pain.
giving
He
updates while
loves
his
it,
arm
man.
is like
Like
incapacitated.
below camera, like there's some.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because he's going. Yeah.
I love
Oh
it.
no! Ouch.
I gotta send you this guy's channel. It's wild.
It's wild, man.
But none of it is like poisonous enough to like kill
no,
him. But
he
just
doesn't-
like
The most painful, not the most poisonous things.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most painful bites.
He's got
in
a
the
good GP on staff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
He-
callback.
This is a banana spider, by the way.
Oh,
God damn.
look at those
Oh,
legs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is insane looking.
You know what? Anytime I think about not living in Canada, I'm gonna look at this picture because we're so good.
Canada's the place to live.
Oh, there's a little tick which has a really low percentage of maybe giving you a disease that's relatively treatable if you catch it
And it's
early.
not all ticks.
It's not all ticks.
Oh, really?
No, that's a common misconception. There's just certain ticks.
Not all ticks are bad
yeah.
ticks.
So
Yeah.
like that tick that was on me could have been a good tick.
And there's a lot of regions like Toronto's actually pretty. Actually, Toronto near the island and stuff. I heard they have some stuff, but like
yeah.
at
Just
least
bushy areas. Like as long as you're not like
Yeah.
in long grasses very often, you should be all right.
and for the most part, if you catch it within the first few days, even if they have limes, you're good. You can treat it. You catch the bullseye. You go
Yeah.
in. They do like boop boop. Just don't go to a GP. Go to a Lyme P. And
A Lyme P.
LPs.
yeah, GLP,
Mhm.
GLP.
General Lymes practitioner. But yeah,
Or just a vet. I feel like a vet would probably be the
Yeah.
most dialed thing on Lyme disease.
100%.
Vets are good. I've yet to meet like a very.
It's
bad
probably
vet.
one of the-
Because
it's-
if you
it's
kill
one
a
of the
family
more-
member, people are angry. You
it-
kill a dog.
I always wanted to be a vet like growing up, but like what I didn't realize is like it's actually one of the most complex medical professions because what we forget is that like a GP it just has to know humans. But a vet has to know like multiple animal types.
Yeah.
And some will like specialize in like farm animals and things like that. But at the end of the day, like
Some do
you
it all,
have
though.
to know like human times 20.
And even within like knowing dogs, like there's
Yeah,
so many
it's-
breeds.
Yeah.
Like, a
Which
big,
their own
Dogs,
individual
yeah,
different illnesses.
yeah.
right? Greyhounds have different diseases
Yeah.
than like
Like you think like being a
little
vet's
Frankie would
hard.
get. Speaking of a vet, this was a traumatic thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. Aspen, our family dog, he got hit by a car on Dundas.
No shit.
No.
We were at the off-leash Trinity Bellwoods Park, and
He got out of the off leash.
well, it's not even a fenced-in off-leash. It's just it's like a bowl where the dogs play in.
And they thought dogs just can't get out of bowls or something.
I don't know why. Like it should be fenced.
Yeah, it should be fenced. I didn't know off leash could be not fenced.
Yeah, you would think that, and they're just like, oh, there's a bowl like that'll keep him in there, and it was like he got cranked right at Dundas and Montrose, so right there. I think he was trying to run back to the house, and so we had to rush him. There's a vet on Dundas and Euclid, so we took him there, and then we spent the day at like this emergency vet hospital. He's okay now, but it was terrifying. Like, guy's a tank though. Like they did all the X-rays, not one broken
And
bone.
he was fine.
Not one broken bone.
The guy, he got cranked in the intersection. Like all the cars stopped, and then he like just gets up. He walks his way to me, but then like he just drops down on the sidewalk. I drop down. I'm crying. I'm thinking like he's got like 5 to 10 minutes to live, because like the car was probably going 40.
How old is he?
He's 3 years 11 months. He turns 4 in December.
Yeah.
But it was tough. My mom had come down, and so she didn't see it happen. She was talking with another dog owner, and like I remember she called. Like the whole thing was nuts. Like this happens, and this guy pulls up in his truck. He's like, "Get in." So I hop in with Aspen.
Heroes. There's heroes out there.
Oh, the guy was a huge beauty.
Get in
the truck. he stayed with us, but like like my mom's like, Eric, like what's going on? I was like, Aspen's been hit, and so like she doesn't even see him. So she's sprinting. She doesn't know what his state's like, but the guy's doing all right. But yeah, like just be careful like at that dog park, because it's like just total. It's like an open bowl.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Wow.
And a shout out to the Dundas Euclid Animal Hospital.
Yeah.
Which is now Frankie's vet.
Frankie's vet.
Yeah.
Okay, so they save a dog, get a dog.
Yeah, you
That's
need
how
a good dog GP. Dundas Euclid.
You know what? So they gave him a full assessment. Didn't charge us anything. Just like
what?
Off you go.
Okay, can we give an extra special shout out to these guys, because that's wild.
Yeah, really good vet. So
if you have a dog in what was this area called?
Trinity.
The Trinity area, we recommend the Dundas Euclid vet.
Big shout out.
I kind of got a funny story. So my girlfriend, her sister, she lives with her, and she just got a dog.
That's hilarious.
So she.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, Rob.
That wraps things.
She adopted this dog from Texas, and so the dog came up, and they didn't really know how old, or like I guess it was like a stray dog. Texas apparently has like a huge dog.
They don't spay or neuter. I just learned that.
Yeah.
So they have
we were
so
speaking
many
about
dogs.
this. Like there's so many dogs in Texas.
They just don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because it's like a lot of like ranchers and farm dogs?
I don't know, but they are the leading killers of dogs, because they have too many.
Because they're just all like
but also like leading in an adoption too. Like so many so many of our friends have dogs coming up from Texas. Anyways, the people who were hosting this dog down there didn't know how old it was. They thought it was a puppy. So they told my girlfriend's sister that there was a puppy too. How it's like, thought it was like, like month or 2 old. However, and so
it's 40.
She's had the dog.
This dog has 1 month to live. And please take good care of it for its final month.
She's had the dog now for, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, and just been babying it, like treating it, like giving it like baby amounts of food, and like treating it like like little, like like it's like a little dog, right? Puppy, right? And I guess just recently, like she just told me this the other day, they took it to the vet to do an assessment, and the vet's like, this dog's like a year old, pretty much. So
that's incredible. And the dog's just going with it. It's like, I got a good thing going. Like,
act
like a puppy,
exactly.
treated like a puppy.
That's what I was saying. I was like, how long is a dog gonna
I
like
wonder
pull the
if
wool over their eyes?
I wonder if it stunts dogs' growth the same way, like if you over baby a kid for too long, they might have developmental issues. I wonder if dogs get the same thing, because it was probably a street dog before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like tough as nails.
I think it was found in the streets.
So soft.
Yeah.
Softest baby shit, just living in this house. Like, that reminded me of a horror movie with Paul Rudd.
I didn't know he did horrors.
I watched it the other day. They adopt a child that they think is a child.
Oh my god!
Oh,
yo,
I've
but
seen
it's-
this.
that was a scary movie.
That is a
Terrifying.
scary movie.
and,
Yes.
and it's like they adopt this child from Russia, and it's like a 31-year-old woman who's like,
This is a real story. Did you know that? Maybe not that exact movie, but this actually happened.
no way.
Yes.
That is a like with a dog. It's like, yeah, whatever. Like the dog, not the dog's fault, but that is a terrifying.
I don't know if this is the same story, but I heard this recently that yes, there was a Russian adopted girl that was a lot older than the 11 or 12 that they said she was, because she had this disorder that made her look young, and she was not only lying about her age to get looked after, she was trying to kill the parents with bleach and poison.
I think I heard about this.
Yeah, it's a real story.
Oh my
That
god!
is insane.
What happened is, I think the parents were going to get charged with abandoning a child because they couldn't. They left her. They eventually figured out what was going on, and just instead of they left her the house, they moved to Canada. They fucking left this girl because she was trying to kill them, and they didn't know what to do.
It'd be hard to maybe go to the cops too, because
'Cause
the
it's a
cops show
child,
up and
yeah.
then she's acting super childlike.
So they were
like
getting-
this fake puppy.
They were getting charged with child abandonment, and this was a whole thing. And then they found out that this was not a child; it was an adult. And then they investigated and found out that this girl was poisoning and trying to kill the parents. Probably what that movie's based around. Maybe, who knows?
I think so, because that sounds like the exact plot of that movie.
Yeah.
Except
What's
I
that
think-
movie called again?
Paranoia.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah, I gotta watch it.
Paranoia. It is so trippy, and I think in this movie the fake child was trying to get with Paul Rudd's character too.
Oh, so they added. Obviously it's Hollywood. They have to add a fucking
But,
weird taboo sex element
weird-
to it.
Yeah, She
Fucking
was,
Hollywood, man.
weirdly attracted to Paul Rudd's character, but I guess because from her point of view pretty close in age,
The Drill
And-
and Phil.
and she Drill and Phil, and she was really targeting Paul Rudd's wife to try to get her out of the picture.
Ah, okay.
But
so-
also
Yeah.
she was just crazy and killing everyone as well.
okay, there's that. There's always that, right? You gotta love Hollywood, eh? An already fucked story, and they're just all right, gonna fuck the dad, and you know what I mean? We're killing everyone else while we're at it.
Gotta add in a romantic element, right?
Yeah.
Where is Bismarck done for the season?
Yeah, she's dry docked on the islands, so she's out until goes in after Easter.
You know what? I'm a little ashamed that we never got out on the Bismarck this summer. It just flies by, and we talked about it, and we did our podcast early enough in the summer.
Yeah, yeah. We will. Why don't we set? I want to do that with you guys, and then
That's what we said we were gonna do next time. Remember?
pod on a boat.
Pod on the boat.
Yes, that was it.
So
Yeah.
we got to wrap this up really soon. We're at almost
Yeah.
at an hour and a half. But before this episode, I was like, what was it we talked about last time that we needed to do this time or talk about this time? It was doing it on the Bismarck.
I think
Mhm.
that would be so fun. Just a full day sail, and then bang out an hour and a half.
Now we
pod.
got to wait a good 6, dude. A good
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, boys. I
That was our bad.
yeah. We'll get out. We'll do it early too. We'll get it in May, so we can fire that up. But I think that would be a very nice day.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I will forget. So we'll have to, put our heads together
Mhm.
to remember. Maybe put a calendar. I'll put a little random calendar
Calendar.
invite
Yes.
and invite you guys in the spring just to organize it.
Yeah.
We
the
don't have to
planning.
go out on that day.
Right.
But otherwise, that was a perfect example of just a zero planning. Where does a conversation go podcast? Because we've already talked about your history, right? So
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. You guys are great. Great to chat with, and yeah, I think we covered a wide range of topics. I hope the listeners found it compelling and interesting, and I love coming on. So whenever you want to have me back,
Always like I said, we got a ton of requests last time after your episode to have you back on.
that's amazing. And I
So-
will have you guys on the biz, and we'll do a pod up there. And also next summer we'll do the Ottawa trip. And
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
rip a
oh my
raft
God, fuck yes.
And the
That would
boys
be
will
nuts.
buzzing down the Ottawa River.
Edibles Rapids. Let's do it.
Get a nice bucky on, protect those
Full
heads.
cage.
Full cage.
Yeah.
Full cage.
I think on that note, thanks for having us. Thanks for letting us see the new pup and enjoy your very very nice home. I'll say it every time.
Yeah.
And other than that, I guess we'll see you all next
Tuesday.